What's up, awesome people? My name is Mitchell R. Tucker, and I am so excited to introduce my guest today. He truly has become one of my favorite entrepreneurs and mentors. He has over 2 million subscribers on YouTube. He's written several books, and he has no idea how pumped I am that he gave me this opportunity and came on with us today. Mr. Evan Carmichael, thank you so much for being here, sir.
Appreciate the love, man. I'm feeling it.
So, there may be a few people viewing that are not familiar with Evan Carmichael. Can you just briefly tell them who you are and what it is you do?
What do you like about the story? How do you consume my stuff? That's probably the easiest intro.
So YouTube is where I found you, and that's where I consume 90% of your stuff. I just got your book, Built to Serve. Well, I haven't got it yet. I just purchased it, so it's on its way here. I can't wait to get my hands on it. But YouTube is where I consume your content, and what really drew me to you, honestly, was you yourself has labeled yourself more of an introvert. And I think that's one reason I really liked watching you and watching what you do, because I'd consider myself an introvert. I might not look like it now, but I'm 31 years old, and I just got to the point where I don't care what others think, right? And it's became incredibly freeing. And just this YouTube channel, I've been wanting to do this for years, and I'm just now doing it. So that's really what drew me to your content initially.
Love it, man. It's awesome. I resonate. I'm very introverted. I don't talk to people, on the airplane next to me. I don't do small talk. I hate networking events. So how do I have a YouTube channel with 2 million subscribers and speak around the world and do all this stuff? I think as introverts, and maybe you resonate with this, we're good listeners, and we actually enjoy thoughtful conversations, especially if it can help somebody else. What we don't enjoy is small talk and introductions in useless conversations. And so when I'm doing entrepreneurship stuff, or even being on the show, this actually gives me more energy than it takes away. It's so awesome, and it's great to meet somebody who's a fan of the content. I'm excited for a conversation ahead. I'm going to leave this with more energy than if I was going to just sit down and have a small talk with somebody at a coffee shop. It would be like the worst thing in the world. I hate it.
Yeah.
So to the point of the book, I guess, Built to Serve, is we're all built to serve. If you feel like you're doing work, if you woke up every day and felt like the work you're doing was meaningful, had an impact, maybe not on the world, but even if it touched 5 people, it's like, hey, what I made today helped 5 people. That's really fulfilling. And that's what gets me out of bed and combating the introvertness, to say, no, I need to show up, not for myself, but for the people that I'm trying to help.
Yeah, that's great. And that would be your advice to the introvert entrepreneur, is really trying to find what you feel your calling is and what you're truly there to do.
Yeah, I think that's my advice to humanity, is figure out, first understand and believe that you have what I call Michael Jordan level talent at something. And you're the greatest in the world, the best at something.
Yeah.
It's probably not what your parents want you to be, or what you grew up thinking, or what you learned in school. You didn't go to learn to school to create a YouTube channel. So believing that you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, and then honoring that and chasing that down. And for the introverts, we might have a difficulty in worrying about judgment, or getting in front of the camera, or getting on stage. For extroverts, what do you mean it's hard to turn on the camera and press record?
Yeah, exactly.
But they struggle with other things. They struggle with other things. And so the thing that you struggle with, I find, when you default to service, if you can think about how this is potentially going to help somebody, it helps you summon the courage to do the thing that you're afraid to do. Because everybody can be great at something. Everybody wants to serve, introvert or extrovert, you want to serve, but you're afraid of something. That's why you haven't started, or you're not consistent. And the thing that can get you through the fear is the reminder that you're here to serve, to help the people get a result.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I'm assuming that's a lot about what your book is based on, Built to Serve.
Yeah, it's helping you. So if you align with that, so the first starting point is humans are built to serve. And there's some data and science behind it, that it hits the same part of your brain as having food and having sex, which are both pretty important too as a human. So like you're hardwired literally to serve. and you know what it's like to serve and help people. You know it feels good to hold the door for somebody or to buy somebody a birthday gift or something or plan a surprise. You know that feels good. But a lot of the stuff that we do is very short-lived.
Yeah.
Like buying a coffee for the person behind you in line is great. It's this momentary of happiness, but the act of kindness is not purpose. Purpose comes from you understanding that you went through a lot of pain, and who you'll love helping the most is the people who are who you used to be. Whatever you struggled through, if you find somebody who you see as like a younger version of you, even if they're older than you, but in what they're trying to do, they're a little bit behind your path, and you reach back and help them out, that's purpose. Your purpose comes from your pain. And that's lasting, lifelong purpose and happiness, more than just doing acts of kindness. So the book talks about, how to find it, how to apply it, and then how to turn it into a business.
That's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to reading it. You've obviously been very successful on YouTube. A lot of people know you from your YouTube channel. What would you recommend to me growing a new YouTube channel? What would be your number one tip as far as gaining subscribers and growing my YouTube channel?
Are you doing mostly interviews like this?
No, I'm mixing it in interviews, and I wrote a book, Mentally Tough in a Weak Society, and what topic I like talking about is mental resilience, being mentally tough enough to achieve your dreams, to go after your goals. So the channel is geared towards entrepreneurship and mental resilience, but then I also bring on people like yourself and do interviews, and so it's in that niche.
And how often are you posting content?
Probably twice a week.
Okay, that's a decent start. That's the start that a lot of people don't have the consistency on. So is it one Mitchell video and one interview a week? Is that the goal?
Yes. Last week I did two videos myself.
Okay.
So it's just whenever the interviews line up. Sometimes they don't line up perfectly, but yeah, I would say on an average probably about that.
So I would split it then. So for the Mitchell talking to camera, I understand that most people who are watching the video don't know who you are. Even for me, 2 million subscribers, 83% of the people who watch my videos are non-subscribers.
Golly.
It's a good thing. That means you're growing, right? It means
yeah.
you're not just talking to your core base. You're talking to new people. So have that as a mindset that somebody's watching this video, has no idea who you are, has never heard your story. I mean, that's going to be everybody because you're just starting a new channel, but constantly remind yourself of that. So your job is to stop their scroll. They're scrolling on YouTube on their phone, right? Most of the views will come from the phone. They're going to give you a little bit of time. You got to hit them right away with something. So for the Mitchell videos, I think about what's a powerful opinion that you have that other people don't either see or they think is weird, because you see the world a little bit differently than other people. Yeah. So what's an opinion that you have? Like, we could actually workshop it. What's something you believe that other people don't believe?
Mental resilience is the key to pretty much anything, as far as hitting your goals.
Okay, so you're not hitting your goals because what? You're mentally weak?
Yeah. Well, you gave up too soon. Essentially. I mean, as long as you have the right steps in place, and you're heading in the right direction, if you don't hit your goal, it's probably because you gave up too soon.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is it. This is great training.
I love it.
In your first sentence, it's a powerful opinion. So there's no probably. There's no maybe, there's no probably, there's no what ifs. Like, this is what you believe. That's what's going to stop the scroll. So you did not achieve your goal because you quit too soon on it. First sentence. Something that's going to make me stop. And delivered with your fire and intensity. Imagine somebody's in front of you and says, Mitchell, no, I mean, it's just not possible. I'm just not the kind of person who has goals and who can follow through on things. Or like, imagine that person, and you're getting angry out of love for them to win. And that's the first sentence.
Yeah, absolutely.
That helps stop the scroll, right? And we want to hedge it because there might be a few people who it doesn't apply to for some reason. You can't hedge it because people will hold on to the hedge. They'll hold on to the uncertainty. So if you say probably or maybe, like, oh, well, he's not talking about me, I don't have to watch this. That's where people go. They don't want to have to do the hard thing. So they need your push. So what's the name of your book? again?
Mentally tough in a weak society.
Yeah. So that's a pretty strong title.
Yeah.
Right? You're basically calling me weak.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah.
So it's great. Like, you could even do that with your videos. You are not hitting your goals that you deserve to hit because you're mentally weak.
Yeah.
First sentence. Right? Yeah. So you're ruffling feathers. You're making me stop to pay attention. I'm just scrolling through and then boom, this video hits me. I wanna have to pay attention to it. So always think about, for your own personal videos, the Mitchell videos, what's the first line? Because your chances are you're losing people too soon. Either saying, hey guys, it's me, I'm Mitchell, and I have this, gone, goodbye, I'm out already.
Yeah.
Right? That's just because they don't know you. Your friends will watch, but you're not making videos for your friends. You're making videos for people who don't know you yet. Right? So if you're sandwiched between Tony Robbins and Jocko Willink, like, yeah. I just saw Tony and the Jocko down there, like, why am I going to stop and watch yours? Because you have an opinion that matters and means something. And if you get to it at the 5-minute mark in your video, it's too late. Like, I don't see it. So you can control that when you're doing your own videos, when it's Mitchell talking to the camera, and practice. Like, do that first line over and over and over again until you have the intensity and energy and it's coming out exactly like you want. Because once you get that right, the rest of the video will flow. We can dive deeper into like what a perfect video might look like, but that's the starting point. When you're doing interviews, I kind of pushed you a little bit on it, even on this one. Never ask the guest to introduce themselves. Because what's going to happen, I have a standard intro, right? If you say, hey, Evan, for people who don't know you, and it's super humbling, like for the 2 people who don't know you, I mean, there's a lot more people who don't know me. But my answer is going to be the same answer I gave to the last 8 episodes of podcasts and shows I did for other people, right? Because now I'm into my default mode. So I start to tune out, which then becomes a less exciting show. The audience may tune out. They've already heard me talk about this, and this is right at the beginning, so it's important, right? The best thing you can do is, one, only book guests that you love. Like, I'm bringing Evan on, and you said, like, he's one of my favorite entrepreneurs. He doesn't even know it, or you know, super warm message at the beginning. But then dive deeper into why you mess with that person. Why am I your favorite entrepreneur? Why are you so excited to have me on? In a genuine way, hopefully. Like, if it's not genuine, don't ask the person on. But you do a custom intro for them. I don't care if you don't talk about my book, or don't talk about my YouTube channel, or don't talk about, like, if you say, I love Evan because he plays League of Legends, great, we'll talk about League of Legends, right? Yeah. It also shows that you actually care. Like, oh man, this guy actually has watched a lot of my stuff and knows my story. And now I'm more engaged. So you get a better Evan and a better guest every time you come on. So those 2 things. For your videos, you lead with a punch, powerful opinion, right to my gut. And then for your guests, you do the intro and make it personal. Say, this is why I love you so much. And then get into questions that actually help you.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
What do you believe is the #1 thing that holds people back from accomplishing their dreams? Do you feel it's just putting yourself out there, or limiting beliefs, or what is your input on that?
Yeah, I think lack of belief is the #1 problem in the world. It's what I wake up trying every day to try to solve. People don't believe in their Michael Jordan level talent. People don't think they could be great at something. And I'm trying to change that in as many ways as possible through, you know, long form videos on YouTube and short form cartoons on Instagram and interviews like this to try to reach a broader audience. I want people to find out how they can serve. I want people to find out what they're great at and start to live their dream, because I think most people wake up and hate their life, and then progressively just hate their life more and feel like they can't change and they can't get out.
That's so true.
And that's what I wake up every, like, I'm never going to solve that problem, and I wake up every day trying to solve that problem.
Wow. So I want to there was some emails back and forth before the interview, and one of the things you recommended is, you know, this is your time, this is our time together. Let's talk about what we want to talk about, and then if other people get value out of it, that's great. But I wanted to get a little bit more personal with you now and get your advice on something. I'll tell you real quickly my story, because I don't want to waste a lot of time. But I've been a cop for 11 years, and I do reserves now. I'm not a full-time police officer. I do my 2 days a month or whatever to keep my certs active and all that. And my story, my last couple of years, I worked undercover narcotics and robberies, and I've done a whole bunch of cool stuff in law enforcement. But I created this box, right? It's smaller than a DVD player, and you plug it in, and within 6 seconds, it protects the entire house, invisible layer protection, every single door, every single window, with no wire, sensors, or gadgets. It's just one single box, right? It's monitored by the same people who monitor ADT. I have 13 patents on it. At the time, I had a prototype when I was a cop, and I came up with this because I saw how alarm systems were getting circumvented by the bad guy, right? And I needed an investor. Long story short, I found an investor. He liked the product, but he wouldn't invest because he said, I believe in you, I believe in the product, but I won't break my number one rule, which is put money into someone who doesn't have any skin in the game or nothing to lose. If I give you all this money and you don't do what you should, you're still a cop and I lost my money, you didn't lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I quit my job the next day. And then he was like, well, if you can sell me, I guess you can sell an alarm, and he invested. So now we're at this point where I have a product, I have the patent, everything's finished, I have, some customers. What would you recommend getting it out there? I mean, it's a crazy product. It's a pretty incredible product that I feel could be revolutionary. But I'm having a hard time really getting any steam with it.
Are you selling the product, or are you selling the monthly fees to maintain it?
We actually both. I have the product. I have it here in my office, hundreds of them. But we also do the monitoring as well. Right,
but the money's in the monitoring more than the actual unit. Right. If somebody sticks with you for 5 years or whatever, it's like, pays off. You need to. So I mean, the way a lot of ADT works is they have people off selling. A lot of them are doing door-to-door. They still do door-to-door knocking, and they're allowed to in Corona because security is considered essential service.
Oh wow!
So a lot of people are still going door-to-door knocking. It still has the least amount of restrictions because phone calls, there's all the lists that you can't call and all this stuff. So it's finding those guys and giving them a reason to sell your box on top of it. Thinking about partnerships you can form. Like if I'm you, I'm just thinking partnerships. Partnerships. Who's selling to? I don't want you going door to door selling the boxes. It's just not going to be a good use of time. You need people who are off selling the boxes for you. And what's the cut that you're going to give them for doing it? As a bonus of having a show like this, I would bring on people who you actually want to biz dev with, who you respect as well. So they're not only on because of the show, but they're for the deal, but you actually like their story. You've got something you want to pull out of them. Because before this, I didn't know you had the security. Now, I mean, it's not my game. It's not my jam. I'm not in the security business. But if you brought on the head of a company who could really help your business grow, and you pitched it like this to say, hey, I love your story. I'd love to dive into it. I'd also love your feedback on what I'm doing, and hopefully that can help other entrepreneurs. You don't even have to pitch them an opportunity. If they like you and they like the deal, they'll just try to find ways to help you.
That's great. So one thing that I really like about you is you're a very genuine dude, and the fact that I was able to get a hold of you and you're like, yeah, man, let's do it. And you didn't, this is a new YouTube channel. The truth of the matter is you're not going to benefit enormously from this interview as I may, and that just speaks volumes for who you are. The fact that you took out the time of the day to come talk to me, I really do appreciate that.
I love that you can, and sorry to cut you off, but I can't always do it. I mean, it depends on what's happening in my schedule. And there must have been something in how you wrote, the message that's like, I love the hustlers. I love the people who are like willing to put in the work. And, I sense that in your message. I also love being people's first guests or the thing, like if you can use my name to then go book other people, it pumps me. Like, I'm just so pumped.
Yeah.
Like if you can use my name for the next 3 years to go book your guests, that leads to the biz dev, right? That like now you can get that CEO to join you because I was on your show, and then that leads to a multi-million-dollar deal for you and your security box blows up. Like, I'm pumped, dude. I mean, I had a tiny little bit of that success for you, but I like to say I'm half of 1% of somebody's success. I'll own my half of 1%. Like, you still have to go off and do the work and book all your other guests and do everything else. But I love I love if you can use me and you go build an amazing business. Like I love it. It fires me up.
That's great.
I love those stories more than somebody who's got already a giant following.
Right. So, do you have any recommendations, lastly, on reaching out to these other guests, these people that are a little bit harder to get a hold of? People like yourself that have large followings, is there something that you could recommend I do to get in front of them?
I would put this up, and then I would use my name to anybody who knows my name. Like, look at who follows me.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Instagram and see who's following me.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
that you like. Like, again, you have to have some story. So I mean, I don't know. Grant Cardone follows me. Great. Maybe you love Grant. Maybe you hate Grant. If you hate him, don't bring him on just to try to have a name. If you love him, make sure you have a story as to why you love him. And it doesn't guarantee that he's going to say yes. But if you use my name, you have a much better shot because he knows who I am, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Now, my name only extends in certain circles. Entrepreneurship, yes, a lot. Police work, 0, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some police officers or whatever who follow me, but it's not the core of what I do, right? So, especially have you had anybody else who has a sizable following on your channel, or is this the first?
I've had one other guy, Mr. Alex Cormont.
Okay.
A few 100,000. But his following is mainly French, so that it didn't really, cross over too much. But
like whoever you get next, I would look at, and even him. Does anybody follow him and me? Anybody who follows him and me is like, oh my God, you have that guy and that guy, and it might be somebody who actually surprises you. Like, oh really? Like, Grant Cardone follows that guy? I never expected that. So he knows Evan, and that's one of the first things people always look at. Like, everybody's gonna hit up, hey, be on my podcast, be on my YouTube channel, be on my show. If you can name drop some of the people to say, I've had these guys on, and that means something. People pitch me like, I don't even know who these people are that have been on your show. Not that that's a deciding factor for me, but it being smart for a lot of people, that is what they care most about. And then also showing me why you care so much, right? Like, that's what hooked me. It's like, this guy is not just some, I don't know, I'm just gonna reach out to 1,000 people and okay, Evan something, great, send, right? So the tone and the care and the way that you reached out, I would apply that for other people, and then name drop the people you've had on that might mean something to them.
Well, that's great. I appreciate that. I'll probably end this and go do that.
Yeah, even if they have shows, try to book their guests. So, if like, who's somebody you're trying to get at?
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot now.
Or like, does it have to be like the? Yeah.
I'd love to have Grant Cardone. I mean, that's a perfect example. That'd be awesome.
Okay, so you look at Grant. Grant has his own show. Grant has a bunch of shows, right? Young Hustlers, a bunch of shows. I don't know all his shows. He's doing a video a day. It's awesome. Book some of his guests. Look who's been on his show. One, they care about getting out there. They want more attention because they went on his show, right? Yeah. They may not all say yes to you, but if he's had 200 guests and you get 4 of them to join your show, now you've got me and 4 of his guests that have been on his show. It's 5 people who he recognizes. This still doesn't mean he's going to say yes, but he might.
Yeah.
It's a much better shot.
Yeah.
So dive down into his shows and see who's he's brought on, that again you can connect with. You like their story, there's something you want to ask them. It's not just a name. That's how we do it. And then make your list of 100 people. So Grant's one of 100. Who are the other 99? And then start building your path towards it.
That's great. Mr. Carmichael, I don't want to take much more of your time, but I do appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to getting your book, and I won't hold you up any longer. Thank you so much, sir.
Awesome, man. And listen, just one last quick thought. What you did here, I would photocopy. In that you're asking me for advice on how to build your business. You did it because I sent you a video to say, hey, that should be the start. Like, if you bring on Grant, I would do it as, I'm so excited to have this guy. I've been following him for 2 years or 5 years. on YouTube. He is the king of XYZ. And, you know, Grant, you might be known as being the real estate entrepreneur who has XYZ and assets. You know why I love you? I love you because you go on Instagram with your daughters and it looks like you have a really awesome family life, and it's something that I really respect and admire. Like, whatever, right? You pick something.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna be way more lit up. Like, oh, thank you, man. That means a lot to me. And you tell some story about his kids, and then you say, hey, I know you get asked business questions all the time. I would actually love your advice. And then you dive, because I get asked, today's been all interviews for me. I get asked the same 18 questions on repeat, right? This was fun. This is different because we're actually workshopping a real problem. So you lead from that personalized intro right into your problem. And he'll love doing it. Now he likes you because you gave him a customized intro that actually means something instead of asking him to introduce himself, right? It's fine. Like, it's great. I'm giving you the feedback because I think you can crush it to do this, right? I don't usually end shows talking about this stuff. But then you workshop your problem in a way that you think Grant can help. Here's what I'm doing. And then maybe you never even hit your questions. It's good to be prepared and have like 5 questions just in case, but be okay with skipping your questions, because in him helping you, it's going to be fun for him. It's going to be super valuable for you. And it's going to help anybody who's listening and paying attention, watching.
That's great.
Cool, man.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Much love. You too.